Okay, we're back. Last thing that I want to probably do today before I take a break on this is just model out how the delivery receipts are, or actually the delivery, which in and of itself is going to be like a delivery receipt. But when we create a webhook, how does that webhook get delivered to an endpoint? How do we keep track of that so that we can report to the user how, hey, this is your endpoint. These are the webhooks that we've sent recently to this specific endpoint, not just the webhooks that are related to your account. And this is the result of that attempt to deliver it. It was successful. We're reattempting it, all of that. Now, obviously, we're going to do all of this stuff in the background eventually, but right now, I don't care about that. In fact, I'm probably not even going to implement that myself. What I'm most concerned with is the actual modeling of the domain. The details of implementation, I don't even mind having somebody else on the team help me with that. I just want to make sure that I get the design of the domain model right. But I think I know how to do this. So I am going to nominalize this concept of delivering and call it a delivery. So, okay, we'll come back to our scratch pad. So we'll have a scratch pad and we'll say that we have a webhooks outgoing delivery, and the delivery is going to be to an endpoint, and it is going to be of a webhook. And I can't use references here because I don't know how to namespace it properly, but webhook. And then we're going to have something like, it has already a created at, but I'm going to do a delivered at date time, last attempt, attempted at, which would be the last attempt count. In fact, I'm not even sure I need to do this because I feel like the active job, I'll do it for now, but I believe I'm going to be able to get rid of some of these attributes because active job or sidekick under the surface or whatever is going to be able to report to me what the attempt count is. And I'm thinking back to when I would use delayed job, and all of this stuff would be in the database, and I would just pull it from there. But whatever, we'll say attempt count as an integer, and what else? So we're trying to deliver. We've a last attempt. The last attempt was at the attempt count, and anything else? Could say the response. Oh, I'm not sure I want to. Yeah, response, and I'll do it as a JSON-B just so that we can, stuff a bunch of stuff in there. But the point is that this is going to, oh, you know what, URL. So what we want to do is cache whatever the endpoint config is. We want to all right, so the endpoint, let's look at the endpoint real quick. Yeah, you know what? Actually, I'll just do URL from endpoint and response. So that way, if they update the endpoint URL, we know. And let me just check that that's the only thing. Yeah, that'll do it. So we'll just cache the endpoint URL. and the response as a JSON-B. And that can be like response code. In fact, let's do that. Response code, integer, and then response body would probably be a good, maybe we'll just do text. Maybe that's good enough. All right, so that's pretty cool. Let's do that as a Rails generator. I actually forgot before I did that to commit all of the other stuff, but that's okay. All right, so now we can have some fun. So first of all, just real quick, delivery, I'm going to do has many or belongs to endpoint, belongs to webhook, and likewise on endpoint, I'm going to say that it has many deliveries and has many webhooks. In fact, that's not even a relationship that we need. And then the other thing that we want to do is on webhook. Won't have many deliveries. All right, so what this means is that we can do, if we take our event is going to be so let's figure out what our first event is. It's thing.created, right? Okay, so then let's get the thing.first. We'll just say that we want, oh, that's not very cool. Oh, that's even worse. All right, so we'll take this guy and we'll say, we'll rename it special thing. Special, yeah, no, our thing, testing thing, save. Cool. And then, so we have our thing. And we want to create or update. So yeah, perfect. So we got thing.updated. We have the thing. And then we have we want a webhook or an endpoint. We'll figure out what team. Good. That's a good team. So that works. Yep. So we have the team, and then team dot. Ooh, we don't have endpoints yet. Now this is a little different because we don't just want to call this endpoints, I don't think. We want to webhooks outgoing endpoints. In fact, let's see if that works. And this is because it's outside of the namespace. Yep, that doesn't work. So we have to do class name Cool. So there we go. And there is already a endpoint, but just for the sake of our test script, I am going to, where's our scratch pad? Here we go. So get rid of that one. And then see if we can create another one. Whoops. Thing, reload team. Okay, good. So that created the endpoint. So now we have an endpoint and deliveries. Right, and there's no deliveries. Okay, but the point is that the endpoint, the team has webhooks. Is that... Yes, so the team also has so now we're reloading the environment. I'm going to go reload thing and team. And now team has this outgoing webhooks collection. And so I can actually now create a webhook. And let's take a look at what the... There we go. It needs a subject, which is our thing. It needs an event, which is the name of the event type. And it needs a body. So that is going to look like event is event, subject is thing, and body is going to be thing.toJSON. Check this out. Sweet, there's an error. Okay, let's try this again. It expected an event and it got a what? That's interesting. No, we're going to run into this problem. Okay. So let's try this and see if this fixes the problem. I think it's complaining about the namespace, so I'm going to try this again. Oh. We just have to reload. All right. In fact, I'm just going to restart this. Maybe I don't even need that. I think it might be just different versions of the same class. Let's try this. Saying team ID. unknown attribute. So we didn't have that in there. It's just a whole bunch of incomplete stuff. All right, we'll try reloading. Oh, we never did. Oh. Oh, no. Add to webhooks outgoing. So I forgot to add team as a relationship on the webhook itself. So let's see if this works now. Yeah, that worked. So there is, I wonder if we should do it like when we create the webhook. Maybe we should make the body actually like encapsulate this entire thing. Oh, although yeah, that's like what we would do, right? Okay. So in the webhook, I wonder. Something like that. Does that work? Huh. I don't even remember the, yeah, okay. So Okay, that works. I think. Yeah, that seems to work. So, okay, cool. We'll assume that that does work. And we can figure out the structure here later if that's what we want to do. Okay, so anyway, coming back to our examples. So we have create, and then this is what's going to trigger, deliveries. So when we have when we create a webhook, after create, okay, after create, the webhook has a team. We already did this as an example before. So what we want to do is when a webhook is created, we go to that team and we say, hey, of all of your webhooks outgoing endpoints, do you have any endpoints where how do we want to do that? So, oh, actually, we were going to do this the other way around. So, although, dun, dun, dun. Oh, let's do, okay, I got to think about this a little bit more. So, we're going to make the endpoint events add this event. So we want to make sure that that record exists. So that endpoint exists. Okay, good. So, okay, perfect. Now we know that this endpoint listens for thing.updated. Okay, great. So that's too many, but what we can also do is never mind, that won't work. Let's see. Oh, that's interesting. It didn't delete any though. Okay, well, whatever. Anyway, the point is we have these endpoint events, and it's going to receive a webhook for these events. So what we want to do, in fact, what I have right now is going to actually cause double. It is going to cause double webhooks to be delivered. Fix double webhook delivery, but we can come back to that. So the point is, we want when we have an endpoint or a webhook that is created, we want the webhooks team, the webhooks outgoing endpoints join. So in fact, I'm going to do this in the console because I need to. So joins the webhooks or joins its own events, right? Okay. So we went from we have one webhook, but if we join on events, we actually get 3. Why? Because there are 3 event records there are 3 events that this endpoint is listening for. But what we want is where events name. Oh, you know what? We have an oversight here. the class name. Oh, no. This is fine, actually. Okay, so where the event name is, what's our subject right now? So subject should be thing. So subject equals thing. Subject dot class, actually subject, yeah, dot class dot name dot underscore and then the event is like create or updated. All right, so event name thing dot updated or endpoint dot events or thing dot updated. So if we want the endpoints that join events where events name we can look at the SQL and it's saying that the webhooks outgoing endpoint events and the events dot name. Oh, that's no good. Yeah, there we go. So that logic actually works. So that's how we do it. I am just going to throw on a unique for now because that solves that problem I was talking about. But look how this works. So on after create, the subject dot name in fact, we don't even have to do it by name. What am I doing? So if we have a webhook, we already know the event. It doesn't have to be created. We can just say we just match that. And let's make sure that that works. Yeah, it works brilliantly. And then we do unique dot. All right, so we just say endpoints. So yeah, we'll just call it endpoints. So these are the endpoints that we should send it to. And so for endpoints.each do endpoint, each endpoint dot deliveries, right? Look at what deliveries is. We'll just go through. We don't need the response body, response code, endpoint URL. We will do that. I mean, this really should just be a default on the file or on the table. In fact, what we can do is on the deliveries, all right. And then what we can do is there we go. Great. So that's the default. We haven't delivered it yet. The webhook ID is self. And the endpoint. So there you go. Really pretty simple. Webhook, endpoint URL. So after we've created the webhook, we send ourself as a delivery to each of the endpoints. And there you go. So let's see if that works. We have our event, we have our thing and our team. The endpoint already exists, so we can see that here. We've created an outgoing webhook, and you can see that it's inserted into the deliveries. So after it creates the webhook, it automatically goes through and creates a delivery. The delivery is going to this thing. It has, you know, the webhook thing, whatever, and that's it. All right, so it works. Now you might be asking, don't you need to write some automated tests or something? And the answer is yes. I just don't write those tests. At this point, I'm satisfied. Like, I've come up with the design. That's the important thing to me. Making all of the little details of this work is way less interesting to me than having like a really good domain model. And so at this point, I've got folks on the team that are good at the details. In fact, they'll probably do them better and more carefully than I would do them myself. So this would be the point at which I hand this off and get them to kind of complete the cycle, put the tests in place, handle all the edge cases about like what happens when the webhook fails to deliver. Like, we haven't even attempted, like, on the delivery, we haven't, on create or after create, do try to deliver the webhook in the background, fail gracefully, retry a bunch of times at greater delays each time, and yeah. In fact, you know what occurs to me is that every time, yeah, you know what? In fact, yeah, like yeah, that's definitely a thing. Yeah, that's what we need to do. Okay, I'm going to do that actually. Go back to our scratch pad. Oh, I have to run here. I'm out of time, so I won't even get to do that if I want to. I'll just have somebody else do it. But the point is, remove, let me see, deliveries. Man, we don't need any of that stuff. Okay, I'm going to make a note. I'm going to refactor this myself. We don't need delivered at. Wow. All of that stuff. To delivery attempt. Oh, man, that's great. Okay, cool. I'm going to leave it at that for now, and we'll pick it up later.